disease.
Yeah, that's true. I am also interested into the possible effects of hydrogen on the gene expression of mitochondria and of the genes related to mitochondrial bioenergetics. And one of my hypotheses is that hydrogen, used even orally as an inhalation agent, could improve the level of creatine and different biomarkers of bioenergetics in the brain, because all these neurodegenerative diseases share the same symptoms or the same trait. It is a low level of cellular energy. So it might be that hydrogen might increase the cellular energy in the brain of those populations that might be related to the better quality of life and have different aspects of people suffering of Parkinson or
and it's a point
Alzheimer's.
I brought up to the one researcher on the metabolic syndrome study going in. One of the markers that was not consistent. Some people lost a lot of weight, and other people didn't lose any weight, right? So that shows that it's a different factor. Well, if hydrogen's working as a, say, exercise mimetic, right? If it's making them have more energy, feel better, perhaps these people who are now 60 with metabolic syndrome, obese, pre-diabetes, started feeling better, so they all of a sudden started going for walks again. Going to work out because they have more energy. They're walking around, whereas other people who had been sedentary for life, even though they have no more energy, they have more energy. They never ever had the habit to use their energy anyways, so they continue being sedentary. Whereas the others are feeling better, so they're getting more active again.
That should be strictly controlled in the future study. If we want to prove that hydrogen is an exercise mimetic, to be somehow balanced regarding the habitual physical activity during the research. But it might be really helpful to see, is it really a mimetic or not? And finally, perhaps to combine those two positive factors, lifestyle factors such as a regular hydrogen use and regular physical activity, that might help us to tackle those complex diseases.
It could, one of the biggest, anecdotes we hear, which sounds really quack-like, people say, I just feel better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, if you have more energy, you feel better.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? If it's driving, mitochondrial energy production, you feel better.
Yeah, that's true.
You're more active, you feel better.
Exactly.
Right? So it sounds like a real placebo thing, I just feel better, but it has a sound basis on why someone could feel better drinking hydrogen water. Now you mentioned hydrogen may be increasing, cellular creatine, and I know you've talked with me in the past about you think there's a synergistic relationship between hydrogen and creatine a little bit, and I have taken creatine on and off since I was 16 years old. In the past as a performance enhancer, for sports and physical training, but now I've started thinking of it more as a daily health supplement. And it's the same thing with caffeine. Caffeine will show in a single dose maybe that you have a better sprint time or better endurance. Like caffeine is an incredible ergogenic agent, for sports performance. In fact, so many sports products rely only on high doses of caffeine. It's the only thing that works in the product.
Yeah, that's true.
So our next two essentials that we're launching on our site is actually just pure caffeine, just a 100 milligrams a tablet, and creatine, because I am viewing both of them more as protective neurodegeneration daily
agents.
Supplements. Now,
more and more data are collected during the past couple of years regarding the use of creatine as a regular dietary supplement for general public. Because we already know that in many different diseases, not just when we are talking about athletic performance, the level of cellular energy is down. My interest in hydrogen and creatine is actually because of my lab is partly dedicated to addressing the problems of impaired bioenergetics, low bioenergetics in many different issues. So the creatine and hydrogen appears to share the ability to increase the level of cellular bioenergetics. We just talked about that. One of the biggest companies in the world, actually the owners of the whole creatine idea, from Germany, they started to sell and promote the hydrogen for other creatine for general population. And they're advising particularly the children with learning disabilities or elderly the regular daily usage of creatine every single day until the end of the life, because the creatine appears to be very, very beneficial for many different health biomarkers. So you got it right regarding the use of creatine in general population. And probably it might be interesting to think about making a product that contains both hydrogen and creatine in the same mixture.
It would be
to get
hard,
the most of the both sides. It's not easy,
Yeah,
I know
no,
that.
It's
extremely complicated.
I've thought about it. I mean, for the listeners, our tablet and a 12 millimeter tablet, the current one is a result of over 3,000 iterative adjustments. Now, to get that up to like a 1-inch tablet that we need to put a creatine dosage in, it would completely change everything to do with both the reaction and dissolution kinetics. It would probably take me 3,000 more iterative adjustments to get something working. We talked about this at ACSM last year, just you know, privately, and you know, I've been thinking about it for the last year, and I'm like, man, could I do that? Could I make a tablet that big that's full of like another active ingredient that could make it? And I've done a few experiments, and let's just say it'll be at least another year of my R&D.
At least you should consume 2 tablets at the same time, because in my opinion, this is just my opinion, hydrogen might increase the bioavailability of creatine in the gut. That might increase the level of creatine in the circulation if consumed together.